I see I got a few people in here. If you guys can hear me, um, let me know. Let me know if you can hear me, everybody. We got all good with the audio. Perfect. Perfect. You know what? I need to change one thing. Don't move. Don't, right back. I'm going to change this. Yeah. All right. All right. Thank you guys for hanging in there. Sounds a little soft. Hey, all right then. How about right now? Is that better? Is that hard? I hope everybody had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I'll set that right there so I can have my tea. Keep me wet my whistle. All right. Well, hello there, Melinda. How's everything? I hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving. Um, I'm doing this without using all of my fancy equipment I have in here, and I was going to do a phone call, and I'm still going to try to do it in with one of our Melton drivers. Um, Wolf Rider is his YouTube name, but I believe. Oh right, Ka, thank you very much. Appreciate you logging in. Um, I had a little conversation with him, and I believe he's going to be able to give you guys some really good insight on what it took him to get to where he is right now. Um, and I always try to bring people on who I believe you guys are going to be able to get some benefit from. Okay, I did call, and he's waiting for us to call to talk to him. But I was going to kind of let a couple more people get in, and so what I want to do is you guys, get some listen to us talk, and then prompt in your questions, and then I'll ask him your questions, and he'll answer it for you. I'm just hoping that um, audio wise that you guys will be able to hear him well. Okay, that's my goal. So let's hope that it works. All right. Thanksgiving was a blessing. Good, great. Max Christian, what's up, man? Hey, brother, how are you? Um, yes, this Thanksgiving, and it's probably going to be the same way for the rest of the holiday season. 2020 is just, you know, it's just nasty, man. We can't, get with our peeps like we would like to, Thanks, Max. Um, so, all we can do is the best we can do. We try to be with our family, man. I mean, a whole lot of people have lost a whole lot of family members lately. So, if we can spend these Christmas and New Year's and all that together, man, it's a big deal. So I'm obviously home by the backdrop. It's not you don't see a T680 behind me, right? So Milton took care of me, man. I dropped off um, on Wednesday morning, very early too, like 7 a.m. And I was in San Antonio, so it was like 200 miles away. And Milton had me deadhead back home. They basically put me a load on that I pick up tomorrow and drop off on Monday. So that was really cool. Otherwise, they would just have me go pick something up, then bring it back home, and I may have may not been able to get home in time. So I'm really appreciative of how they thought about the thing about the drivers rather than, pick up a load. If you get home, then you get home. If you don't, then you have to get home on Thanksgiving Day, which would have kind of screwed me, because I cook for the family. So I'm really glad, that Melton took care of me the way they did. Um, so we have 10 in here right now. Guys, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button so that the algorithms will remind the other UBS out there that we are live, okay? And then Ken headed to Melton in 2 weeks. Dude, the guy, the Wolf Rider, who we're about to talk to, is also a Melton driver, so he's going to give you another perspective of how Melton operates on, if he's enjoying it or whatnot. And the goal is that you guys get to ask another opinion. And Ken, this is really going to fit in for you well if you're coming over here in 2 weeks. You may have some questions, so get those questions ready to go. Guys, ask one question at a time. Okay, so ask a question. I'm going to get to you. Then you, after you get your answer, if you want to ask another question, no problem. Just go ahead and put it in there, but don't put like 5 questions in one post because it just gets confusing. Okay, I'm going to see if I can get him back on the phone, and then you guys are going to have to let me know, if you can hear him. I'm actually hoping that you guys can hear the phone ringing. So let me know if y'all can hear him ringing right now.
Hi, Swish.
Hey man, how are you? Uh,
All right, my man.
hey man, I had a tough time trying to get the they say they can hear you. So perfect. I had to just do it without my this fancy board over here. Um,
Oh, really?
yeah, man. You spend all that money to have all this fancy equipment, but if you don't have the
Right.
brain here to work all that stuff, it's all for naught, right? so so
Totally, man.
now, the name of your YouTube page is Wolf Rider 750, right?
Yes, sir. Wolf Rider 750 trucking. You can find it. Wolf Rider 750. You'll find it real quickly. That's usually how guys find it fairly quickly on that.
Yeah, yeah. What's the 750? What does that mean?
Well, when I first started the YouTube channel, if you look at like way below all the videos, 750 comes from my Gixxer. I drive I'm a sports bike rider. I have an
Oh,
'09 Suzuki, we call Gixxer 750
yeah,
CC. So that's where the 750 came from.
yeah,
So when I started doing it for the trucking, you know how YouTube are as far as changing names and all that kind of stuff. So I just kept it that way for ease
all right.
of following and the people that were already following me there and on the Facebook page. So I just kept it that way and just slowly started just added trucking to it and kept it at that. But
Right.
that's where the 750 come from.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, I had a GXXR 1100. I think it was 1100 or 1000. I can't remember. It's been a long time ago, but they had just come out, and everybody had to have them. And but I didn't keep it very long. Um, uh,
Nice.
so um, uh, I'm reading Max Christian. He's on the feed. He says I was going with Melton, but they would call me back when I was working, so I started with Night Tuesday. You know, you can't go wrong with. Yeah, I guess you can go wrong with Night, but you can go wrong with anybody. But two
Yeah.
different beasts. Melton is all flatbed. Let me ask you, what made you decide to choose Melton? And you were with Swift as well, right?
I was going to Swiss. I went to, let me put it this way. I went to the Fontana, California training facility
Yeah.
with the California Trucking School, whatever they're called right now. I can tell you, I can't remember the top of my head, but that's where I went. I went to sign up to go with Swift.
Uh,
Um, I did put bit on one of my videos, not necessarily speaking bad with them, but at least
Right.
I got some misinformation like the last week of training right before I went to orientation and then took the actual exam, the driving part right there at their school.
Uh-huh.
The previous class went to orientation, and they came back to their test. And of course, you create friendships when you're in school for 3-4 weeks. So
Right.
Couple of the guys came in and basically told me, hey, I know you were expecting this information as far as, it's not my video, as far as having my pet and my girl with me. And their word with me was that they were told that it was one or the other, but not both. And that was a big thing for me. I've shared a little bit on my channel that my girl travels with me, and she has she's a pet trainer, but she has a service dog with us, which is our pet that you see on my videos.
Uh-huh.
That's Nyla.
Right.
So our plans, we live in the truck. We basically, this is our home. And my plans meeting was that, we were all three of us, per se, be able to be in a truck. And that was a big thing for me when the guys came and told me that they were told otherwise. So I immediately talked to the school. And they knew, the trainers knew, my plans or whatever.
Right.
So I immediately talked to the school and basically went on my own and refinanced it by Friday midday.
Uh-huh.
It was a Thursday when that happened. By Friday midday, I was already an independent student at the school instead of continuing with the SWIFT program.
Uh-huh.
And that helped me in a way that I was able not to have the automatic restriction, which, is a thing that you have a lot in some of the schools.
Right.
So I stayed an extra 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks in order to make the appointment with the DMV to have my commercial, have the test done.
Uh-huh.
And also to have more, they wanted me more practice in manual because I was doing everything automatic to that point. So, of course, in the school, I had to practice in manual and get ready for the test.
Right.
But
so
that's not necessarily a big deal for me.
right.
But I did wanted to do flatbed from day one. Like my thought process, my plans were to do flatbed.
Right.
Sorry, my girl's doing some cooking outside.
Yeah.
My plan was to do flatbed for day one. So I originally planned it. I was like, well, I'll stick with Swift and I wanted to go to the reefer unit.
Right.
That's what I was thinking. So I was like, I'll stick with Swift for the year, and then go to a flatbed company and look into that.
Right.
And I had already searched Melton a little bit at that point, of course, especially during school. So my counselor at the school, when I asked her about truck companies that she would recommend, Melton was the top on her list.
Right.
And so it all worked out for me perfectly for my plans, my needs to be able to go straight to flatbed. Go with a decent, good starting company and good, a little bit better pay and all that kind of stuff. As a flatbedder compared to, going straight with Swift, I think it was 37 cents a mile, and you know how it works.
Right. Right.
Over there compared to, flatbed. So that worked out for me perfectly to do this because I wanted to stay physical rather than drop and hook. I was dreading the thought process of drop and hook. I was dreading not wanting to, and this is just my personal preferences for me, but I didn't want to deal with, having my sleeping schedule all over the place because I know sometimes you have to, wake up middle of the night or drop off in the middle of the night and
right.
And roll over. Yeah, I didn't want to deal with that. I have cousins and my father who's truck drivers too, so I didn't want to deal with that. I like the idea that even though with flatbed, we do some night driving, but it's not really like our drop off are usually for the most part,
in during the day,
8 to 9 or 9 to 6 type time thing. So.
Right, and that for me, it doesn't matter to me if I drive day or night, but there is a lot of consistency with flatbed as far as when you're gonna drop. We drop, first thing, first part of the day, and and then you don't pick up by 3 o'clock, then you ain't pick up till the next day. It's it's pretty consistent, and you got Leonard Smith is a California guy. He's on our feed too. So say hello there to Mr. Leonard. And now what do you do? I mean, as far as I know you had talked to me about um, your basically your main residence is in your truck, right?
Say that one more time.
Your
Sorry,
your
you cut off
your
a little bit for me.
your main residence is in your truck. Basically,
Oh,
you living out of your truck, huh?
yeah,
And
yeah. It is. We sold everything except our bikes because my girl rides, and a couple
yeah,
of things are in storage. That's pretty much it.
right, right. So a lot of people are a little bit, I guess, hesitant uh, about going into this industry, and it may be because either they don't want to they don't either they're worried that if they move out, store all their stuff, then trucking won't work out for them. I mean, it's really not that big a deal, right?
No, you definitely. I've had that question asked through Instagram. A lot of guys reach me out to there.
Uh-huh.
Um, you have to. I mean, my first comment usually is you have to do your research and at least be what's the key word I'm looking for? Be committed enough to understand that you're going to put some time into it to figure out if it's something that you want to do or not.
Right.
Um, but it's not difficult. I mean, it's really not difficult if you are thinking like myself,
Mm-hmm.
actually, myself, to kind of make this your resident and save money. I think it's
Yep.
definitely a good thing to do. I mean, especially right now in 2020.
Right.
Um, I live. I've been living in California, quote unquote, living,
Right.
but at least that's where I was for 6 years
Uh-huh.
from Texas. So I am from originally more from Texas, just like you. Right?
Right.
But in California, things are getting more expensive, and it's mostly the cost of living is not for me. I know in general it's more expensive, but it's mostly the cost of paying for rent or even buying a home. Of course, is more expensive. So
Right.
the Sacramento area where I've been at, that's it's gotten worse the last three years,
Uh-huh.
and it is very hard even for an average person with a decent job. A decent job talking. I was a production manager uh, for the last 10 years of my career,
Uh-huh.
and even in California, I'm making $60,000 to $80,000 a year.
Right.
When it comes to paying rent or renting a place, you think, oh, that's enough money.
Yeah.
Boy, with everything else, it really
Right.
doesn't.
Right.
It really doesn't.
Right. I
So
mean, what's up? DZ Too Fresh. He's from Cali as well, so he understands that high cost of living over there. But you definitely have a low cost of living when you're living out of the truck, man. I mean, that really can help you to build up that bank account fairly quickly.
yeah, I mean, I've been my concentration, and I'll share this. I haven't shared this in my channel quite yet, but I'll share your channel
Hmm.
through now. For those who might need to hear it, my motivation is I'm fixing my credit.
Yeah.
The things that I do have, I don't have much, but the things that I do have, I'm working on that.
Hmm.
And saving money and paying some bills out.
Right.
Taking care. I do have kids out, from a previous relationship, so I take care of them. They're grown. The small one is 16 and above.
Right.
So they're not babies or anything like that. But I
Right.
take care of them, and it's not really much. As far as I'm not in child support, nothing like that. Their mom and I, we have an agreement, and we're having a good relationship, so that's awesome. But
Good.
yeah, I mean, I'm just saving money and just paying the minimum that I need to pay, and saving money and just taking care of my next 2-3 year plan that I have right now. Like that's my immediate
Right.
short term goal is the next 2-3 years. So it's just working towards that.
We're just so you guys who are we got 13 in here watching right now. Just so you guys can get caught up, we're talking with Wolf Rider 750, and he also has a YouTube page. I want everybody to please go on and subscribe to his page as well. He's a Melton driver, and his videos are looking nicer than mine, by the way. But eventually, I'll grow up be a big guy like him, and be able to have some high quality videos. You know,
Well,
so
I have an advantage. You know, other people don't know this. If you haven't watched a couple of the channels I mentioned here, I've been in photography and video for the last 12 years. So
yeah,
that was been a side gig for me since I was in my early 20s. So I have that advantage, and I've always liked to create. So I don't drop that no matter what I'm doing. So where my photography and video skills comes in is just because I've been doing that, weddings and things like that. I've done that in the past. So I had my business as a photographer too. So that's an advantage I have. But I have no problem giving out tips and tricks to anybody who wants to know. So
right. Wolf Rider 750. So you guys go over there and check him out. So now, I believe you and I may not be too far apart on the length of time that we've been at Melton. How long have you been there?
no, no, you came in I think a month or two before I actually jumped in. I came
Uh-huh.
in orientation in January,
Yeah,
mid January.
yeah. And I was just getting out because it was New Year's Day was my I was in orientation for New Year's Day last year, so I'm coming up on my year. Um, Highly thinking about DZ Too Fresh. Highly thinking about Melton. Becoming beginning of the year. Spoke with both of you already, so he's already spoke to you. He's a one of your California natives there. Uh,
Nice, nice.
he says you got some great advice, so that's a good deal, man. Hey, appreciate you there, DZ. I appreciate that, and Wolf Rider does too, I'm sure. So you have, and it's something else that we can talk about real quick, and I've mentioned it before. After doing a couple hundred videos, I guess you start repeating yourself, right? But I did make a video about if before you get into trucking, if you're in a relationship, you need to make sure that the person that you're in a relationship with is on board. They got to be able to support you 100% in what you're gonna do, because there's some separation anxiety that's gonna happen there if they're not
Yeah.
really on the same page. Okay, now those of y'all that are watching me, yes, I'm wiping my eyes. It's allergy season. It doesn't matter if I'm indoors or outdoors. That's why I keep that air purifier in my truck. I'm wiping my face with a towel in my eyes, because they get all crazy. But a lot of relationships are in. They have a lot of stress when one or the other makes the decision to spend this much time away. You know, I remember when I went through orientation, um, at it was a Swift orientation, and the the a guy that I was in roommating with, one of because I had three roommates. Okay, crazy enough, but I did had three roommates, right? Yeah, and the third one, I'm laying in the bed, and the guy comes to the door, and comes in, and he says, "Hey, man, there's a guy out in the hallway, and he's like, you torturing himself." And I'm like, "What the hell?" And so I looked out there, and this guy he made me look like he had to at least be 21, right? Because he was trucking school, right? So, but he
Right.
might have been 21 in a day, but he was really young. And he was running down the hall and then just throwing himself against the ground and then banging his head against the wall. He was crying and punching himself. And I was like, what the shit? And then, I asked my roommate, I said, what the hell's wrong with that guy? It's when he got a call from his girlfriend that she leaving it for somebody else because he got into trucking. So he's just, so he
Oh
was
man.
freaking out, dude. I was in tears. That shit was funny as hell, but it's true. It is true.
Yeah.
There are a lot of guys, and even with my mentor, I talk to him almost every day, and he tells me how many students, and even after I've been with him, there's been students that get on his truck, and 2 weeks in, they packing their stuff. It's because they pull over and they go to the rest area on their phone, and then you can see them, wiping their face and try to talk, and then get the truck all sad. And he says, "So I guess home is calling you, right? Yeah, I gotta get home." All that kind of stuff. You have to have already had that shit worked out before you got on the truck, right? So you fixed that. You fixed that. You just brought yours with you, right?
Yeah, I mean it is a tough situation. I can tell you from my experience with my girlfriend. I left. I left. I left to Melton to CDL training December 2nd. So here in a couple of days, it's technically a year since I left to start this journey. But I left the training December 2nd. I didn't see her. Saw her for a couple of days till January, right before I left to Melton, and then didn't come back to almost the end of March. By the time training was over, and then because I live in California, it's a 2 weeks notice, so it took an extra notice to get back. So, not counting the couple of days that I saw her,
Yeah.
it was almost 3 months out. I missed her birthday. It was December 19th. I missed Christmas. I missed New Year's. I missed Valentine's.
Right.
And it was stressful. I mean, for her, it was stressful for her side.
Right.
There's a little bit age difference. I'm older than her, so we're very attached. We like to be around each other. A lot of guys, I've gotten that on that video. Like, oh, we'll see if you're gonna get tired of each other, being with each other all day. Hey, it's not every day it's perfect. Most, I say 9 times out of days everything's great, and you get one day just like every relationship, and it's like. Yeah. You want your own space, we disagree on something, or woke up on the wrong foot, whatever.
Right.
And she stays in the bunk, and I'm in the truck. I'm just driving, and I put my radio on, put my headphones on, whatever.
Right.
Just playing video games or her phone. And
right.
We, kiss and make up later.
Right.
But you definitely have to have, as a son, and speaking as a son, because I was raised by stepfather, who I call father.
Right.
But my stepfather was a truck driver since he was 18 years old. He's mid-60s right now, 63, 64.
Uh-huh.
And he's still driving. But I remember him not being home 2 weeks out of every other week.
Right.
Or, every 3 weeks. And as a kid, being a stepson, it was a little different. He raised me since I was 5. But I know it was a little different relationship than if I was literally his son. I know that. And I raised a stepdaughter myself, so I'm not worried. I understand that. But in our relationship, we really didn't have a relationship until I was 15, 16 years old.
Right.
I just knew he was gone every other 2, came over, and then when he came home, he wanted to rest, be with my mom, and he did chores.
Right.
I grew up not in this generation that, I'm going to go out, you hit me. No, I got hit with the broom several times.
Yeah. Get in line, boy.
Truck driver, they're tough guys, man. Tough guys.
Right.
But it was, the relationship with my mom, I know that was tough. And
right
now, he's still driving, and he don't like doing over the road. He's tried it, and I think he's working local for a guy. Some folks are in Dallas Fort Worth. Right now, just working local. Because the distance. I know that was an issue between them, but
exactly.
That was my biggest fear coming into trucking. Was like, how did I deal with that?
Right.
It's a major reason why with my previous relationship, I didn't date trucking before is because I didn't want to be away from my kids. When they were little. I think when they were older, I think that was going to be easier, and it has been a little easier.
Right.
Still miss them, but it has been a little bit easier.
Right.
But relationship wise, is you're talking, man. You have to be on the same page.
Right.
Definitely be on the same page.
I've been married for 27 years, so my wife and I have a really, really, really good relationship, and she knows me well enough to know if I get a wild hair mask, I'm gonna go do something that there's nothing gonna stop me. It's gonna get done, and so you know, I was talking to my son one day. He says, I need to learn. I need you to come and help me do this. You know, help me build this trucking business. So I said, all right, I'll go get a CDL. And then like a couple of weeks later, I was on my way to get my CDL. And I just don't like that's what I'm gonna do. And she was like, oh yeah, all right. And she's supported me ever since. That's not. I don't recommend that for everybody. Okay, it depends on the relationship that you have, right? Okay, but when I first got started, I did a lot of OTR, and even when I was mentoring, I was you know I'd be gone for a month, you know, and then come back.
Yeah.
But my kids are all grown. They're adults grown. I mean, I have grandchildren, you
Right.
know, and so um, it that my situation was a little different because I got into this late. But if you're going to get into it, I really encourage everybody that's, you know, this is a rookie channel, and if anybody wants to get started with this, you know, there's some good advice. You know, you just got to make sure everybody's on board because
Yep.
you're not gonna be able to, you know,
Yep.
do like Mr. Wolf Rider here and bring him in the truck with you all the time. And you know, even if you don't go to Melton, whatever company that you choose to run with, you have to ask them about their rider policy. You know, and you
Yep.
know, because some you know won't let you have someone on the truck with you for extended periods of time. You know, sometimes they're there, then you know, then they're off for a while. You know, and not only that.
Yeah.
So go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
No, no, no. Yeah, yeah, that's one of the things that I looked into a lot. You know, for me, as you guys know, because yeah, you're correct on that. Not
Mm-hmm.
everybody lets you have that rider with you for more, maybe sometimes just a couple of weeks or 30 days, and then they want to break so you to be by yourself. So yeah, you
Right.
definitely got to look into that.
Right.
Um, but there was something I wanted to say real quick,
Sure.
Keith. Lost my thread for a second here. Lost it. But as far as relationship wise, that's where I was trying to say.
Right.
You know, I've gotten lucky because she's with me
Right.
in that case, but it's still going. Okay, sorry, I was trying to get my thought back in, so I apologize, guys.
No, no, no. Yeah,
This line,
yeah.
but
I get
you
it.
have to go in with a plan. I think if
Right.
you go in with a plan and you have a plan as a family or as an individual, that if we're talking about your family or just you and your girlfriend or wife, whatever your loved one, whoever it is,
Right.
if you have a plan and you come to them with a plan of what you want to do with it, not just another job, I think that makes it a little bit easier
Right.
because nowadays also we have technology. I know 50 in your time growing up, but in my time still growing up, I grew up. I'm 42, so I grew up in that generation where we saw seeing technology grow in my teen years.
Mm-hmm.
But we didn't have that. If it was me with my youngers, you guys, not everybody had that before. You
Right.
had to stop at a payphone and call home, collect, and things like that.
Right.
Now we have Facebook time. We have Messenger. You have video chatting that we
Mm-hmm.
can have. So there is
Yeah.
more opportunities to balance home time and at least relationship. It's not the same as being right there next to you, but at
Right.
least you have more of that balance of being able to see and talk to each other while you're out here doing
Right.
doing what you got to do. But I think if we go, my big thing is I've seen young guys that come into this because of probably, especially this year, because of the challenges of 2020 and COVID and jobs and things that have happened. So they look at the truck and ask, maybe I can jump into that
Right.
instead. But you got to come in with a plan of, what is it that you want to get out of it. And if it's whether it's for a couple of years, 4 or 5 years, or you're just trying to secure employment. But if you don't come with a plan, I think it's harder for anybody else to get behind you. Of
Right.
for you to be away, 3-4 weeks at a time, because we stay out minimum 2.5 months. This time right now before I'm not going back till Christmas. And that's gonna
Right.
be like I think almost 4 months out here. So
Right. And for all of you guys that are watching, just so you know, we're speaking with Wolf Rider 750, and he's one of my fellow Melton drivers, and he has a YouTube page with some really good content there, and you guys know. Lyle with No Hippie Truck and Transportation. Um,
Yep.
uh, he's with Prime, and that's another channel that has very, very, very good and honest information. Okay, Million Mile Man, go to his page as well. These pages, if you're not already subscribed to them, go to these pages, like and subscribe those videos and those channels, because there's a lot of misinformation that you and half truths that you're gonna get on YouTube. You got to, basically YouTube. It can be a good source of information, but take it with a grain of salt and say that YouTube is a source of entertainment. Because if you these are some life changing decisions. When you say I'm gonna, you know, either I'm gonna go to the community college doing this COVID thing because you lost your job, or I'm going to get into trucking. That's a life changing decision. That's not something you're not choosing where you're gonna go eat dinner for the night. Okay, and then a lot of people will go on YouTube looking for those answers to some of those questions. And you can go to there's a lot of YouTube pages out there with big numbers of subscribers on there, and you got to be really careful to take the information they give you to heart. Okay, and that's the reason why I don't you guys see you notice I never share videos on my page, and I don't really talk up YouTubers. Okay, but when I know that they're right, I don't mind sharing it with you guys because it's going to give you another perspective. Okay, so uh, Lyle with No Hippie Trucking and Transportation, the Million Mile Man, they're in our chats right now, and you can chat with those guys. They're with Prime, both of them, and they can give you some good information. Okay, like and subscribe to their page, and also Wolf Rider, who we're talking to right now, Wolf Rider 750, and so I appreciate all the time you spending, man. I know you've been parked for what, just over an hour or so now, right? So
Yeah,
you've
yeah,
been
we're gonna sit here and do a reset this time. I've
yeah,
been running recaps for the last 2 weeks.
good. Good. Uh, and I wanted to. Oh, we're talking about relationships and being gone from the house, and Ken, he said that he had reached out to Melton, and Melton told him, is he going to be okay with not being home, with that within a certain period of time. And that's a big deal, man. And if
Yeah,
that's a problem, and you believe it's going to be a problem in a relationship, you can also, um, when you research companies, find out if there's a possibility to get a dedicated route or a regional route where you're home on weekends, or during a week. You just never know.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
opportunities are out there. Or a good rider policy where you guys can have your spouse ride with you. Either Lyle or Million Mile Man. Let me know, does Prime have a rider policy that will allow your rider to be in the truck with you, for extended periods, like a month or something like that. So if you guys can let me know, I'd like to know that. So type it in there for me. Let me know. Um,
yeah,
and you have a dog with you as well, right?
yeah, yeah. We have our dog Nyla. She's for over a year.
Holy shit! What's your
She's a
dog's
Malinois
name?
mix. She's a
Your
gorgeous
dog.
dog.
Your dog's named Nyla.
Yeah.
My daughter had to have a freaking dog. I was strenuously object, but I broke down, and she got a German Shepherd, and she named that German Shepherd Nyla.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, she's
Million Mile Man said that Prime has a rider policy, and there is as long as you want to have a rider, you can have a rider. And generally, the way that goes, if your guys are still making your mind up, um, there's a small fee that you pay to have a rider on your truck, and it's basically um, insurance payment, and
Yep.
it's not huge. It's the amount
Oh, not at
varies.
all.
Yeah, the
It's
amount varies.
if you don't mind me saying, it's
Yeah,
$2. I pay. I think it's $2 and change a week.
yeah, $2 a week, $3 a week.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's
$2
basically
a
have
week.
that insurance for them. Of course they can't. They're not supposed to participate in stuff like securement and things like that. They're not
Yeah.
supposed to. Because they can get hurt.
So, keyword.
Yeah, yeah, right. And they obviously can't move the truck or sit behind the driver's seat, but
Yeah.
um,
One
uh,
one one other thing to keep in mind on that also is, and we recently experienced this for the first time. They and the companies should tell you. I'm sure Prime, as Melton does. The paper says there are places they won't allow them to go inside with you. We experienced this for the first
mhm,
time in
right,
a port in the East
right,
Coast where she wasn't allowed to come in. She had to stay outside the port with her. She decided to keep the dog with her. I was picking up a cat, and she ended up having to stay outside until I was able to, go back out. So she
right,
wasn't too happy about it, but but she had to. It happens. I had a different location in Washington. We picked up lumber, and she had to come in with me to watch a safety video in order to go in the property, even though she was staying inside the truck.
right,
So you have to keep that in mind, and at least
right.
remind your passenger, hey, you might have to, depending on where you're going, you might have to, that could happen, that could come
Right.
up, and you got to
That
follow rules. But it doesn't. It's not very often, but it's only happened once that so far that she's had to stay outside.
right. Yeah, and ports are that way. And I'm going to pick up some slinky coils on tomorrow morning. And I know that the place I'm going is that way. You can't have any riders going in there.
Yeah.
But Ken Kimball says $750 deposit to cover truck for having a pet. Did you have one?
Yeah.
You had put one deposit as well?
Yeah, I pay that. I could have fought it with the season service though, quote unquote. I think that I had a conversation with one of the guys at Melton,
Uh,
the safety guys. I think it was Jason, his name.
yeah.
Because it seems like they're not very aware. A lot of companies are not aware of this whole service dog deal. My girl, that's all she's trained, so she's very, very, very educated when it
Right.
comes to that. And she's like, "Oh, you should have to pay a deposit. She's a service dog." I say, "Yeah, I'm not gonna fight it. It's fine."
Right.
But it's just for kids. But yeah, it was $750. They take it out of your paycheck every week. It comes to about things like $35 a week.
You're
So
right.
they break it down for you.
Right.
Melton is very good, about working with you with things. So it's not a big deal. It's not a big pain. Like, oh, I gotta have $750 to have on a truck right now. No, you break it down during your weeks, and when you're starting
Right.
off, even if you run through any type of financial situation where you need to save a couple bucks, you can ask them to hold back for a little bit, and you'll pay it back later, whatever. They'll
Right.
work with you. So it's
Right.
good. I gotta communicate.
Million Mile Man said that this is free for rider with at Prime. That's Prime.
Right.
Prime got the cajillion dollars, man. I mean, they can go and throw that in there. But actually, that's really not a that's really not a bad deal. That if the company says, you know what, I ain't gonna charge them for a rider. I'll let them
Yeah.
bring them along because if you actually think about it, $2 really isn't going to deter you from bringing your significant other or friend or child or whatever with you on the truck. However, if you know that there's no difficulties getting them on there, having your spouse ride with you every once in a while, to kind of subdue some anxiety, that could actually
Yeah.
work in the company's favor, because it'll keep you out, keep you rolling, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. You gotta do what you gotta do. Make it work if this is what you want to get into.
Exactly, exactly. Um, so I know your significant other's probably looking at you funny right now since you parked and she's making dinner for you. It's probably time to eat, huh?
Oh, she's not. No, she's actually making dinner for herself.
What?
Her name is Ashley. She's very, very organized. You have no idea. She's way more organized than I am. This woman
generally
have everything very organized in here.
all right.
No, she's actually meal prepping for herself.
Oh,
She's
okay,
changing
okay.
her diet, so she's taking advantage of the time and just meal prepping outside. I just bought her, for you guys that are starting off, if you want to save some money from truck stock food and stuff,
Oh
uh,
man.
I got her one of the Instapot things,
Yep.
the 11 and 1. They have it on sale right now at Walmart from 150 bucks to $79. So we were at Walmart the other day and I saw that. I bought her that. Uh, so she's working with that. But she likes to, we cook out here. And if you've seen my Instagram, if you follow me on Instagram, a couple of guys that commented, I post a lot there too. And
Yeah.
I bought this little gas grill, like camper gas grill with two little stoves. So I cook my steaks there and um, sandwiches, whatever. I got some burgers or whatnot. So just trying to save money because I counted to be honest on this and give you a little numbers.
Uh-huh.
I have spent with both of us. Of course, there's two of us here. We'll
Right.
probably split that in half for itself. But with both of us on the truck, there's one income, but I have spent at least $400 easily in less than 7 days
Oh,
eating.
without a doubt, eating, just eating. Which is
Just eating.
which is why I cook on my. Well, that ain't the only reason why I cook on my truck, but that's a lot of reasons. The other reason because I like good food.
Yeah.
I like to know who cooked it, and that they didn't, they wasn't, sniffing boogers and stuff like that while they was cooking my food. I like to be, clean. You know, old Lyle,
Yeah.
old Lyle, he can cook a little bit, just a little bit though. So don't let him trick y'all. He has a cooking channel, and
Nice.
yeah, and on his cooking channel, you know, he show his face, but his wife actually do all that cooking. So don't let him trick y'all. I was there, I saw it, but by the way, Lyle, I did a turkey on my channel, and I deboned it and stuffed it and smoked it. I just showed deboning it, but I'm going to get with you so you can help me to expand my channel. But it just so you guys know, it looks easy to post videos, but it is time consuming,
Oh
very
yeah.
time consuming. You know, and then when you do it all, when you do it daily or on the use the type of quality that some people got like Wolf Rider, with his videos is like, you know all high end and professional, you know
And that's the
all
biggest
good. he
challenge.
got he got gourmet
Man,
gourmet
that's my biggest
videos over
challenge.
there. That takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Let me tell you, it's a lot
Yeah.
of work. So, so when you watch these videos, make sure you thumbs up. It does help out a lot, and it's a lot of work. So now what Lyle talking
Yeah.
about? Lyle, he's
I
a
was gonna
Lyle,
say.
he made some steaks for me. Yes, the steaks were good. The steaks were good, But I know when I stepped outside, his wife went over there and seasoned them up better. He did a little bit, you know, you know. But
Yeah.
he's good
It
people.
takes time. It takes time, man.
It
It
does.
definitely takes time.
It does.
I have, um, I can tell you for those of you who might check out my channel or already check out my channel, um, I'm sitting on probably 3 or 4 videos that I can edit right now that I'm working on
Yeah.
to post out. I'm very picky with my quality, and that's kind of one thing I've had a hard time. I've started using my phone to, with phones now that you have good quality, so I try to play with it, but I have a hard time doing it. It's like, no, I have to use my camera. I have to use my camera. That's why I bought the camera.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. It's
but
hard to
but
not
it takes
use $2,000 worth of equipment. Just let it
yeah.
sit there.
But it takes time to sit down and edit it, and especially in my case, I try to post at least 1 video a week, but I'm trying to do 2 at the most, at the minimum, but at least minimum 1. But I'm trying to do 2 a week, kind of one
Right.
towards the end of the week, one at the end of the week. But I usually my style is I'm covering kind of load, load per load from the moment I pick it up to I drop off, and kind of
Right.
talk about the load and give you, share tips and what my experiences are as
Mm-hmm.
a rookie and my first year in this and all that. He's kind of shared the experience of each individual load because that's what I like
Right.
about flatbed per se. We grab many different things. You never know what you're gonna get next and what challenges
Right.
you're gonna have, and everyone has its own challenges. So
Right.
I have a video coming up that I'm editing on, and I'll give you guys a spiel for your ears since you guys are watching 50 channel. You know, going through those 70-mile-an-hour winds in Wyoming about a week and a half ago, and I something happened. I'm not gonna say what it is, but
Yeah.
something happened that
Yeah.
I had a press line break, and I was like, I puckered up. Let's just put it that way. Something
Yeah.
happened. I said it was gonna get worse. I puckered
That,
up. It had nothing to do with the truck. Oh, I was driving safe, but
right.
those 70-mile winds are no joke, guys. Those 70
Yeah.
no joke.
Wind does take an effect on it's a high profile vehicle. It doesn't matter if it's a flatbed or not. But hey, it can get hairy. We're gonna be looking out for that video. Wolf Rider 750. Look for him, okay? Look on YouTube. And no, what Lyle says that he keep his trucking channel raw like 80s hip hop. So he's just
Nice.
he just keep it easy. Just do it, done, post. I get it. I get it. I do that quite a bit too. And sometimes you just you know that there you think this driving is not a you know a physical job. So you should be able to drive 650 miles and then park and be fully energized. But the mental capacity it takes to get to drive 650 miles is exhausting. You're reading traffic all the time. Your mind is never still. Just is this person gonna cut me off? Is this person gonna merge into traffic? It's a big deal because you have a lot of responsibility driving that big old truck, man. It's not
Oh
gonna
yeah.
stop when you want it to stop, and the people around you aren't gonna drive the right way when you want them to drive the right way. So it's always you're constantly trying to uh, picture in your head how you're gonna get out of a situation that hasn't happened yet. And that's you were just driving defensively all the time, and it's mentally exhausting. So yeah, I'd imagine when you do get time to make a video that it's raw. Unless
Yep.
unless you're Wolf Ride, I'm telling you, dude's
Yeah.
got some nice videos. So one of these days I'm gonna have to sit down and get a tutorial class. So you can show me how to do it big time like that.
Yeah, no, definitely. It is tiring being out here. That's one thing you were saying. Like I was thinking about it day before yesterday. Coming out of Birmingham on this particular load I delivered today, and it was raining. Pouring rain through the rainstorm that was going on
Yeah,
towards the East Coast. Not sure if you was driving through it, but
yeah,
you guys probably at home because it was Wednesday.
right.
If you were Thanksgiving, I was driving in the rain.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I got
yeah,
past that. I
people
beat that.
people don't realize it is. We all say once those guys that they're listening that might be coming in, this beginning of the year and things like that we've been chatting and all that.
Hmm.
It is stressful. Some days you're chilling. Some days you're chilling. You physically
Right.
feel fine. When maybe on like Highway 10, Highway 40 in the areas, the desert area, not as much traffic, and so other truck drivers. You're
Right.
still paying attention. You got to pay attention to everything, but it's not as stressful. But when you have to be in the cities and you're going from city to city, your eyes got to go everywhere. Your mind is thinking 1,000 things at the same time. Your safety, your
Yeah.
truck, your speed, weather, other drivers. You finish your 10-hour or your 11-hour, and you're exhausted. I
Yeah.
mean, I ran this trip the last 2 days, and I have my log in front of me. I had to drive. Melton doesn't do this very often, but I picked up this load in Birmingham. I delivered just 40 minutes north that morning, and they told me to go to the terminal, pick this load. Swap trailers, pick this load. Coming here to California, South California, just before San Diego, 1,800, a little bit over 1,800 miles from Wednesday to today, to this morning, 8 a.m.
Yeah.
And I called my DM just want to make sure that it's still on Wednesday because if I calculate this at 50 miles an hour, it's not.
Yeah. It's not
what we
feasible.
normally do. It's not going to happen.
Right.
Now I do know that I can run and I know you talked about this in your Swift videos in the past about running, be able to run 500 miles. I was
Right.
watching those. I remember those.
Right.
And just for those who might watch those recently, my goal is over 600. I always plan at 600 a day.
Right.
And the last 2 days, yesterday, I kind of broke one of my records, the 688.6.
Yeah.
And the day before, 671.8.
Right.
Now, yesterday I had 3 minutes to spare on that clock when I got to that truck stop. And of course, that has to do with trip planning, pre-planning.
Right.
I know Swifty talks about that on his channel. I've had that question too. I'm planning to do a video on that as well, as far as the way I plan things.
Right.
But it's mostly based on where you're going, knowing what truck stop or rest stop you want to go. You know, if you want to take a shower and stuff,
right.
You know, you may have to take a shower early so you can run as far as you can, even if you have to park at a rest stop somewhere else that don't have any amenities or whatever. You know, you got to plan all that stuff, and that's how you push the day to as much as possible.
Right.
Either because you want to get there early and do a reset, like I do sometimes. I run hard. I tell people on the channel, and I say, run hard the first few days, even if you know you have plenty of time. Run hard the first few days.
Right.
That way, when you don't know what can happen. But if you want to stop and go shopping and take a couple extra hours, you got the extra time.
Right. And I say that a lot too. You know, I mean, if you got a lot of a big window on your load, you know, that big window, the screw off time needs to be at the end. You don't screw off early in the load because you just never know what's going to happen towards the end of that load, you know. And Lyle asked me if my backing skills have diminished since I'm doing flatbed. Let me tell you, backing a flatbed with spread axles is a total different situation than closed tandems on anything. Those spreads react in just an array of different ways because of the terrain or the load that you have on it, and they don't like to back up. They will go forward, but turning they do not like to turn. In fact, the front axles, the front wheels on the tandems, the front one, they don't turn. They just drag. They don't turn. So when you're making a turn, you're actually dragging the front two. The back will pivot, but the front two is dragging the whole time.
Oh yeah, and it's fun when you're a rookie and you start and you never have to deal with it and you're solo and you have to drag that 48,000-pound weight and you try to make a turn and you hear that tire just pushing and you look in the rear mirror like, oh my God, it's just gonna pop.
That's it. That's it. You know, there are some trailers at the yard in Oklahoma and Tulsa. There's some trailers in there, and the trailers are twisted. And they twisted because they most likely had a coil sitting on right in the center of the load. 45,000-pound coil, and the person tried to jackknife the trailer. And when they do that, the trailer twists. And it absolutely will twist that trailer to the point where the front axle ain't touching the ground. just twist it and total the trailer. It's gone, done. So, Lyle, to answer your question, they probably have, I might need to brush up on this a little bit, but I get my ass to my parking spot enough time. I pull forward. I find a good parking spot where I don't have to do all that kind of stuff when I back up, because it's a different situation when you try to back those spreads. And
and you definitely get the practice on it. You have sometimes you do have to park in very tight spots.
Yeah.
You just have to take your time.
Yeah.
So take your time, be smart about it. Don't push it. Don't worry about anybody else who's waiting for you. Don't turn off if you have a CB like I did. Turn it off if you don't want to hear anybody else.
Yeah.
Turn it off. Put the window down. But you have to be extra careful. And practice helps.
Yeah.
Definitely practice every time you get a chance. But if you're in a tight spot, I've been in tight spots. Google Maps your client, your receiver especially, or shipper Google
Yeah.
Map before you get there and see how the turn lane looks above, because I delivered the
Right.
one I delivered in Birmingham. Is one went in, one way out,
Mm-hmm.
and I got there the night before, and I was like, I'm gonna walk all the way to the back of the dock to my flashlight just to make sure that there was enough space in the back that I could turn around, because I knew that's where I had to turn around to.
Yep.
And there's no way that I would have done it. If I didn't know and I was being told to go turn around and you don't have enough space, you have to back all the way out. So those kind of things you have to watch out for.
Yeah.
I had a client in LA one time. Security guard told me, "Oh yeah, there's room back there." This was my first experience having a hard time turning. I was like, "Yeah, guys, go back to the warehouse. You have space to turn around." No, you didn't.
Right.
No, you didn't.
Right.
Once I made that turn, I was like, "Oh man,
Yeah.
this mother."
Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna back all the way to that security guard, back all the way up there, straight line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, "What's up?" I was like, "I can't turn around here, man. I
Yeah.
can't turn around."
DJ Throw, man. Hey, I'm gonna get in contact with you, brother. Um, he reached out there, and Jeremy says, take your time and don't worry about everybody at the truck stop. Man, look here. You get, I get far less looks when I'm pulling that Melton truck than I do when I was pulling that Swift trailer. When I pull that Swift trailer, everybody was like, "Take out your cameras." And I'm like, "Take them out, some bitch. You finna see something. Watch this. Bam, bam, pump, pow. Now what?" They was all like, "Oh shit." But those goddamn spreads, boy. Look, man. I had a mentor, a Melton mentor. He told me that one of his students totaled the truck and trailer making a turn. Where he got out. He was at the fuel island. He went inside. He told the student, "Get finished and then pull up to the line and stop." But the student decided to go, "I'm gonna show my mentor I know how to back," right? So he actually didn't stop at the line. He actually pulled forward, and then he tried to make a sharp turn and then back into a parking spot next to the fuel islands, and he 45 angled that or 90 angled that load, a coil load, and
Wow.
when he tried to back up, it torqued the trailer like it does. It torqued the trailer, torqued the frame of the truck, snatched the lower radiator hose out the radiator, pumped all the coolant out. He said when he came out, it looked like that truck was on fire. Just smoke. It was actually antifreeze, but it just going everywhere. And so the mentor was able to uncork the truck, but
Wow.
but once he pulled it into the park spot, the whole thing was leaning to one side, and it was that the frame was twisted. I mean, you got to really, 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 really be careful. Lyle said he saw a guy almost lose a load, with pulling those spreads. You just have to be really, really careful, you know. And
Yeah.
use your brain, think. I mean, if you look back there and it looks like it's fixing to cock to one side, you might have a problem. You may need to stop doing what you're doing. Goddamn.
Definitely.
It's not
I
hard.
tell,
You just have to
I
you
tell the
just have to be
guys,
think.
if you when you go to CDL school, right, you teach you on a box truck,
Right?
and if you're learning on a 48, they kind of give you an idea, how many, that 10, if I remember properly, 10, 20 feet, whatever, little 90 square spot before you do a 90 part.
Right.
There's plenty of videos that show you how to do it the long way, even on the box, right? Just kind of curve in.
Right.
I said add an extra 10 feet to that, to what you would normally do in school with your box truck. 10
Right.
15 feet more ahead
Yeah.
than you need space to start turning the truck and turn the trailer slowly into
Right.
it. It has, depending on the load that you have some little bit of sharpness that you can play with, but you got to keep an eye on
Correct.
that fourth axle right there.
Yeah.
you know, on that trailer, keep an eye on the
Yeah.
load and kind of slowly. If you think you're pushing it too much, just go forward and straighten out just a little bit more and take your time. My trainer, uh, we went to he likes to run late, and I'll give you this little example. Yeah, he likes to run late, and we had that's the only issue I have with my trainer. We got along very well. I say this from the beginning. We got along well, and he's a Cuban American. I'm Puerto Rican, if you guys didn't know. That's where I'm originally from. But
Yeah.
we got along very well,
Mhm.
and the only problem I had with him was that he would tell me, I want to pre-plan. Yeah, so rookie, you come in very excited, right? You come excited, you come ready to roll, you want to work, and you want to show them that you're up to it. And I would ask him to pre-plan and say, okay, what time we're going to leave in the morning? 7 a.m., 10-hour break, 10, 15 minutes extra, maybe 30 minutes. It's like, he'll tell me, yeah, 7. I wake up an hour early. So I
Yeah.
wake up at 6. And the only issue I have with him, he probably wake up at 9. So by the time he wake up, I was pissed.
Yeah. Right. Hey,
Like
was
I'm giving him the look. He's like, okay, let's go. He just
right.
wiped his face and like, let's go. I'm looking at him like, dude, I've been up for 2 hours, and now
Right.
you want to roll.
Right.
And now I know I'm going to stay up, 2 hours later than I thought to when we get to a truck stop.
Was
But we got to this particular truck stop late night, and there was one parking left. And there was a couple of drivers in couple spots. You know how we create our own spots.
Right.
We do, right?
Right.
Create our own spot.
Right.
So it makes it harder for that one little spot that's left for somebody else to park in.
Right.
It was late. It was dark. And he asked me, oh, do you want help backing up? I'm like, no, I got it. I don't know if I was a little upset or whatever. I was like, I got it. And he stood outside. And I got it in. I had to go way further up. I was super close.
Right.
The back of the trailer's on my right side, watching the front. But I took my time, parked it in, and I got it in there. And he just got in the truck and said, okay, I'm not going to tell you anything again about parking. I'm like, okay, thank you.
Right. Jeremy.
I have the advantage. I said to myself, I have the advantage. I've been in warehousing since I was 17. So there was a couple of jobs that we had a yard truck. And there was a couple of jobs where I was able to, not really knowing how to change gears or anything, I just follow what I do in a car, changing gears, and kind of learn the hard way.
Right.
But the guys would ask me, hey, my real name's Luis, and not Wolf Rice, so I don't mind you guys knowing that. But they were like, hey, Luis, you mind changing, moving the door, fixing the trailer because the driver left it kind of crooked or whatever. I'm like, sure, no problem. So I'll take advantage to kind of learn how to drive and how to park and how to back those trailers a lot. So that helped me when I came to the truck, and having that, sorry about that, helped me be able to have a little bit of a heads up in the backing practice right before I got into this. So
Leonard, I'm glad you checked in, brother. I'll talk to you later. And Fifth Knowledge, good to see you. Jeremy Owens, I meet so many freaking people, man. I hope that you was lucky enough to run into me, or that I was lucky enough to run into you, right? But okay, we at 69 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes. So I've yapped with you for an hour and 2 minutes already, wasting your time. So I appreciate your time, brother. And listen, guys, just if you haven't already, go to Wolf Rider 750. He's here on YouTube. He's a Melton driver. He's got a good page there, and it's something that you guys might wanna watch. Okay. Also, don't forget Lyle with No Hippie Truck and Transportation. Don't forget Million Mile Man. YouTube channels for us rookies that want real information. Okay, so I'm gonna let you go, brother. I sure appreciate your time, and I'll hit you back up again so you can teach me some of that fancy camera work you got there.
Anytime, I appreciate it. I totally appreciate it. And I appreciate it to all the guys who have recently subscribed, but those who decide to do so, I truly appreciate it.
All right.
I do it to share my experience and hopefully help somebody else.
You bet, brother. That's what we do it for. Appreciate you.
Hey, no problem, man. You have a great afternoon.
You as well. See you later, Lyle. I appreciate you stopping by, brother. And for everybody else. Oh, and if Lyle, if you're still on there, you know, iced tea. It's not ice in it. It's just regular tea now. Lyle, when he do his lives, he always have a drink too. But his eyes start getting all blurry, and he starts slurring his words and telling people to go fuck off and everything because he's getting drunk. But you can when you're at home, right? I get drunk on iced tea. So, anyways, guys, I'm gonna sign off. I appreciate you guys. There's next weekend. I'm going to bring on a guy from TMC, and we're going to just talk a little bit about the difference in flatbed being paid a percentage like he does, and mileage pay like we do, and the pluses and minuses, and the things that he like about that company. I'm not oblivious to the fact that you guys have choices. I have choice. I made a choice to come ride with Melton, and you may not. They may not be hiring in your area. So I'm not gonna be so closed-minded to not help you guys out with some good information. And also, if you are a military veteran, he can talk to you and tell you how you can get your CDL and not have to pay for it. And I definitely want to get that information out to you. But look for me to get with you guys live again next weekend, and we'll talk TMC, and so get your questions ready. I hope we was able to answer some questions for you guys. And thank you to Wolf Rider and Ken. I appreciate you, brother, and Jeremy Owens. I appreciate you. Um, all of you guys. I appreciate all of you. Okay, if you hadn't already, I appreciate it. I got a few more thumbs up, and I really appreciate those. Those help us, the UBS, to get our word out there. Okay. Um, I hope you guys had a really good Thanksgiving and ate real good. I mean, I spent like, I don't know, about 11 hours cooking. So when it was time to eat, I was ready to eat, then go to sleep. It wasn't tryptophan. By the way, I want you guys to understand. So how, I'm gonna say this, then I'm gonna let you go. You know how people say that you eat turkey and then Thanksgiving you eat a bunch of turkey, then you get ready to go to sleep. You have to eat what's in turkey that people say that you go to sleep is tryptophan, okay? And you would have to eat probably 70 turkeys to get enough tryptophan in your body. All the whole thing, about 70 of them to get enough tryptophan in you to make you go to sleep. What makes you sleepy is overeating and eating high sucrose stuff like gravy. That's what help you do this. Okay? Or just be the cook. Then your ass to go to sleep too. Anyways, I appreciate all you guys. Uh, DJ DJ Throde, we're gonna talk. We're gonna talk again, really soon. Okay, um, I'm picking up tomorrow, and then I'm going to um, 400 miles. I forget what. I'm starting to drive. Actually, you think that I'm got some alcohol in here now, don't you? But anyways, in that run, I'm gonna call you. Okay, we'll chat. Appreciate you tapping in there, Mr. Million Mile Man. And don't you guys forget to go to his page, like, subscribe, and click that notification bell so you can get some good, useful information from Prime. You guys may want to go out there and pull some reefer. They also have dry van, the flatbed, and tank too, I believe. They don't have, I'm not dry van. They have refrigerator reefer. They pull dry freight in those reefer trailers, but it's not their main thing. But they also do flatbed and I believe tank. So some options over there. And what I really like is that they can hook you up with a lease that would make some sense to you. Okay, so anyways, guys, I'm gonna let you go, and I'm gonna go find me something to eat, put it in my belly, and find a place to sleep. So, Ubiest of the Tubiest, the best YouTube subscribers on the planet. That's you, and I'm 50 plus. And until I see you again, deliver undistracted. And here's your boot.